All right, chapter 8, vitamins. Always a popular topic. So, we're going to be looking at the functions of vitamins and talking about the two different categories: vitamins that are fat soluble, vitamins that are water soluble, and be looking at some of the major ones individually, where we find them in foods, what are their functions, and how you can avoid toxicity and how you can avoid the deficiencies related to vitamins. So, chapter 8, vitamins. So, pretty much, vitamins are organic compounds that are vital. They are a complex organic molecule that help to regulate metabolic processes. Okay, they are used as antioxidants, they are used as coenzymes, they are found in foods. They do not, however, have energy, so they are a micronutrient, okay? They do not have energy. They are occur naturally in the foods that we eat, and they are essential. They are essential for many, many different processes. This diagram here is wonderful when you look at everything that vitamins really do in the body. They are involved in hormonal action. They are involved in bone health. They are involved in neurotransmitter production. They are involved in body processes and cell division and growth and many antioxidant properties and many other things. They are um, integral in maintaining overall good body health. This is a example also of how vitamins are used in metabolism. Okay, even though they do not provide energy, you see here how they help the body to use the macronutrients, carbs, fats, and proteins that we've been talking about. So they are part of overall metabolism and they are important in overall body function. When we look at vitamins and some of their protective mechanisms, we see that they act as what we call antioxidants, and they help to prevent this oxidizing process that happens in the body, um, oxidation reactions, where you have electrons that are trading places and can cause damage. You see this diagram here on page 269 of your textbook, and you see how these free radicals can come in and destroy, not destroy, but damage DNA, and antioxidants help with that. They help to uh, give up some of their electrons and prevent this degradation of the DNA. So, vitamins and their antioxidant properties, certain ones such as your vitamin C's, your vitamin E, um, beta carotenes, those kind of things, your fruits, your berries, your superfoods, as they're called, help to stabilize this oxidation process within the body and help protect that. So let's look at where vitamins are found in foods. And since they occur naturally in foods, sometimes based on the way that we cook the food, how we process the food, they may be damaged or removed. So, since certain ones are essential, we have the option of either enriching food or fortifying food. And this occurs quite readily and commonly in food supplies. So, the term enrichment is where you have the addition of um, these vitamins that were originally taken out or lost during the refinement process. So when take the wheat, for example, when it is processed, oftentimes they remove the bran, they remove the germ, they're removing that very nutritious inner germ layer, and you're left with just the endosperm carbohydrate. Okay, very little nutrient benefit. So they often will enrich or put back some of those vitamins that were milled out. So when you go to the store and buy flour, regular white flour, um, or wheat flour, you'll see that it is enriched, meaning they have added certain vitamins back to it. Whereas fortification is where they have taken vitamins and added it to a food that did not originally have it. So they are fortifying it, making it stronger, making it better by adding uh, vitamins that weren't originally there. And this has really helped to save thousands of lives over the decades that we've been doing it. And it has really increased the nutritional quality around the world. Some common examples of fortification here in the United States are whole grain foods being enriched with folic acid to prevent birth defects. Our milk supply being fortified with vitamin A and vitamin D, orange juice being fortified with vitamin D, those kind of things. So, good processes you see here on this example, enriched product. Enrichment is very, very, very common in wheat products, and fortification very common in milk products. All you have to do is walk down the dairy aisle at the grocery store and see fortified this and fortified that to help ensure appropriate vitamin intake. Speaking of vitamins, there are two different categories. You have fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. Your fat soluble vitamins are stored in the body within fat tissue. They can become toxic. It's very rare, but they can because fat is stored in the body and it's harder for the body to eliminate exceedingly high levels of uh, fat soluble vitamins. They are A, D, E, and K. And then you have your water soluble vitamins. These are the remaining vitamins here. You see the umbrella family of B vitamins, which we'll talk about, vitamin C, and then some others that are soluble in water. They dissolve easily in the blood. They are excreted easily in the kidneys and in the urine. So it's really hard to build up a toxicity to water soluble vitamins. When we look at where vitamins are absorbed in the body, you see where most of your fat soluble vitamins are going to be absorbed in the duodenum of the small intestine, and then generally, the remaining vitamins are absorbed also in the small intestine, but in the remaining jejunum and ileum. When you look at diseases that affect the GI tract, such as your cystic fibrosis and your Crohn's disease and your irritable bowel syndromes, the more severe cases can lead to vitamin and mineral malabsorption because of where these vitamins are absorbed. Since vitamins are essential, we like to get the most we can out of them. So making sure you preserve the vitamin content in food is important. Especially, we want to get the most out of our money when it comes to especially fresh fruits and vegetables. So, making sure you're buying high quality, not too old, and also making sure that you eat as much of the edible peel or skin if possible, like the skin of the apple and um, things like that, where you have a lot of the vitamins right under that skin surface. Okay. the peel on an eggplant, that kind of thing. Also, cooking in small amount of water. We mentioned earlier about the water-soluble vitamins and how they like to dissolve in water. So making sure that you steam your vegetables or cook them in as little water as possible. That way you're not removing the vitamins from the food, you are actually ingesting them. So it's very easy to overcook vegetables and turn them into mush and drain away most of the vitamins in the water after cooking. So try not to do that. And then, um, yes, steaming or microwaving or stir frying, using as very little amount of heat as possible as well when you cook your vegetables. I wanted to focus now on the fat soluble vitamins. We'll cover vitamins A, D, E, and K here in part one, and then we'll do the water soluble vitamins in part two. So when you look at the fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, let's cover, vitamin A first. It comes in two different forms. You have an animal source and a plant-based source of vitamin A. Vitamin A animal source is called retinol, and it's found in your animal-based foods, such as your eggs, your butters, your milks, your organ meats, that kind of thing. And then you have your plant sources, known as your carotenoids. These are your yellow, orange, red, certain types of green fruit sources of vegetables. Vitamin A is tremendously important. It is involved in cellular growth. It's involved in your epithelial cell production. It's involved in your vision, your night vision. Vitamin A is involved in the receptors within your cones of your eyes, and they help to make sure that the rods and the cones of your eyes can see. So, one of the deficiencies of vitamin A is what's called night blindness because the rods and cones of your eyes cannot function properly without that particular vitamin. You also see that vitamin A deficiency is involved in epithelial cell growth. So, um, your skin can have poor skin and also a weakening of the immune system. It's the RDA for vitamin A is about 700 micrograms. So there again, if you're eating a well-balanced diet and you're getting animal sources and your adequate intake of fruits and vegetables, it's very difficult to get a vitamin A deficiency. As far as vitamin A toxicity, there again, I never saw that particular toxicity in clinical practice when I was in clinical practice as a dietitian, but it does and it can exist. Teratogen here and carotenodermia are two of the types of vitamin A toxicity that can occur, but since it is a fat soluble vitamin. And we also talked about how vitamin A is involved in epithelial skin production. And you see here, xerophthalmia is a type of dry eye because that inner eyelid of your the inner mucal layer of your eyelid is a type of epithelial tissue. So it can also be an area that is a deficiency uh, for vitamin A. Then you have vitamin D, our second type of fat soluble vitamin. Your body can and does make vitamin D when you're exposed to ultraviolet rays. It's a pretty fascinating process how that happens with your liver and cholesterol and all of that. So your body can make some, but because of the tremendous functions of vitamin D. It is often added to dairy products, and it is a very common supplement in young children and especially the elderly, people who are not exposed to the skin, to the sun a lot anymore in their old age. So, vitamin D supplement is quite common in the geriatric population, and it is commonplace in fortification of milk because of the functions. Vitamin D is used and involved to help the body store and use calcium. Several different ways how that happens. It helps to increase calcium and phosphate absorption in the bones. It helps your kidneys to reduce the excretion of calcium so that we don't lose it. It helps, vitamin D is involved in your immune system and a few others, but those are the two main, the three main uses of vitamin D in the body. The food sources for vitamin D are the fortified milk, like we said, some organ meats, and of course, sunlight. And you see vitamin D is one of the more common fortified vitamins. Like I said, in orange juice, in milk, in dairy products, you'll in cereals, you'll see it in foods like that. So if you are eating and drinking dairy products, and if you do get out in the sun, it is very unlikely that you will be deficient in vitamin D. One of the common causes, or excuse me, one of the vitamin D deficiency diseases are what we term as soft bone diseases. So rickets, if it occurs in children, and then osteomalacia if it occurs in adults. This is where you have long-term vitamin D deficiency, and the bones just do not have enough ossification or calcium to ensure proper ossification. And so it can lead to rickets in children and osteomalacia in adults, which is definitely different than osteoporosis. Okay, that's not softening of the bone, that's weakening of the bone. So two different diseases there. Then we have vitamin E, which is one of the more potent type of antioxidants. Vitamin E has the extra electrons that we spoke about, and it is very important in overall um, uh, protection as that antioxidant property, excuse me, vitamin E in the cell membrane. Vitamin E, particularly, as you see here, helps to protect that lipid layer, the fatty acid in the cell membrane from being damaged from those free radicals that we spoke about. So pretty powerful here. It is oftentimes touted as a healing type of vitamin. So you'll see it in um, some skin creams, some topicals, some makeups, those types of things. And it is found in your nuts and your seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds, olive oils, and that kind of thing. So one of the more potent ones. They're again very uncommon to have a vitamin E deficiency. If you were to see a vitamin E deficiency, it would mainly be in the nervous system and weakened immune system, obviously, but more involved in that neuromuscular control. And there again, vitamin E toxicity is very uncommon. I mean, it's possible because it's a fat soluble vitamin, of course, but very uncommon. And it would mainly show its effects in its relation to vitamin K, which is our next vitamin here. Vitamin K is one that is our fourth fat soluble vitamin, and it is involved in the liver and how the liver makes um, prothrombin and other type of blood clotting cells, your platelets, your prothrombins. So vitamin K is another important one, and it's involved, like I said, in overall bone health and blood clotting because of how the liver, oh, here, I forgot that this one here shows it very good, how your liver makes a lot of those clotting factors, the prothrombins, and you see how when the vessel or when bleeding occurs, you need those prothrombins and those platelets to go to that site and activate it. Prothrombin here is only developed thanks to vitamin K. And you see here how it helps to make that fibrinogen strand here and clot the blood and prevent bleeding. Okay. So I kind of wanted to end there, if you don't mind, and we'll cover water-soluble vitamins for part two of this particular unit on vitamins.